right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's another episode of OpenSpace with your girl Songbird and Rravii. Yes, it's about to be our last episode of 2020.
Like 2020.
Wow. Happy New Year's Eve.
Happy New Year's Eve. 2020 went entirely too fast. It was like January, February, March, December. So we're going to get right into it. Like I said, today's episode is going to be juicy, and we're going to start off with a pretty in-depth, deep topic. So accountability and responsibility. And I just want to start off by saying I guess my mantras when it comes to responsibility and accountability. Two things that I always say, or three things that I always say is when you take responsibility, you take control of your life.
Okay.
Everything in life is a choice. And my personal belief is that most of our suffering is voluntary. I'd say up in the upper 90% of our suffering is voluntary. And just to go deeper into that, I think that like I said, a lot of our suffering being voluntary. When I say that, I mean
adulthood, right?
Adulthood, yes.
Okay.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. There are things that happen outside of our control. And yes, let me make that clear. That is into adulthood once you've been through things and you know right from wrong and stuff like that.
Right.
But as adults, yes, most of our suffering is voluntary. And I say that because it goes back to everything is a choice. A lot of times I feel like we get so distracted or wrapped up in what life is on a physical level that we don't take the time to, step back and realize what our responsibility was on a mental and emotional level to get us to these points that they're manifesting physically.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So even in bad situations, you still have to find what you're accountable for, even if it's, I'm just a person that I feel like when things happen, I really try to find my role in how I got here.
Correct. And that's even in situations where it's not necessarily your fault, where
right.
You don't even feel like you were at fault. There's somewhere in the situation you allowed something to happen.
Right.
Some sort of transaction transpired where, you guys weren't seeing eye to eye, and that's the end result. I definitely can agree with that. I agree with that.
And then also just consciously thinking, of course it's impossible to really think for the future in the moment. We can on a general scale, we know what's detrimental and what's not. But making small decisions, a lot of things can happen that can alter the way things will happen in the future. But we also have to, even in things that basically with saying the same thing about karma, it can come at any time.
Yeah.
The consequences of your actions may not be today. They might not be right after something happens.
Right.
The consequences of your actions can happen months, years, decades down the road. And even when things happen at that point, or even if you find yourself in a situation that just seems like what the fuck? I feel 9 times out of 10, there are actions in our past, whether they're recent or not recent, that contribute to where we are.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I said, of course, there are things that are out of control, i.e. natural disasters and pandemics. And honestly, people are, I always say this, outside of business, people are kind of iffy investments because people can get up one day and decide they don't want to deal with you.
Right.
People can get up one day and decide that the dynamics of your relationship will no longer be the same. But even still, the people that we choose is our choices.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The people that we choose to be in our space are choices. The things that we allow people to do in our space are choices that we make.
And I feel like a good thing to put right there, just a little marker right there, is that a lot of times it's hard to take responsibility or be accountable or hold yourself accountable because you're worried about the shame or the outside appearance of you having to carry that blame.
Right.
Sometimes people, when things maybe necessarily don't happen the way you want them to,
right.
Instead of you being I technically did leave late, so it's not really, their fault that they won't see me or,
right.
Whatever the case may be. It's there was traffic and my mom didn't wake me up on time. And,
right.
And so, and then it becomes at least if I can put it on someone else, then you can't look down on me for making a mistake.
Right.
But it's like, as we get older, it's definitely, to me, it's honestly one of the most unattractive things about a person. When you cannot say, you know, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Just being able to tell yourself the truth.
Right. I'm like, even, because honestly, like, we could even apologize to people, but if we don't mean it to ourselves, it really don't mean shit.
Yeah.
So, like, really, it's on a personal level. Forgiveness and excuse me, forgiveness and accountability and all that other stuff, it's for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that some people feel like they need a verbal apology, and you know, you don't mind giving it to somebody, or vice versa. But at the same time, you have to be real with yourself. Like I said, how I first started off, when you take responsibility, you take control of your life. Meaning, like, you don't walk around acting like life is happening to you. Because when you walk around acting like life is happening to you, you're basically saying, I have no control. Everything is happening to me out of my control. I don't have any control of everything. But if you're able to step outside of yourself and be like, well, damn, I don't have no money to get no food right now because of irresponsible financial decisions I made a week ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever. I called out of work too many times this week, whatever the case may be. Once you step outside of yourself and step outside of whatever bad you're feeling for yourself at that time and say, you know what? I saw where I fucked up this time. So I make sure that I won't do it a second time.
And for everybody that tuned in last week, that goes back into us talking about being self-aware.
Yes.
You can't be accountable. You can't hold yourself accountable if you're not aware of what you're doing.
Yes.
If you're not aware of who you are in that space, in that time, in those situations. Be cognizant of your demeanor even. When I was growing up, my mom always had a problem with my demeanor. I love to say nothing's wrong with me, but my face looks like something's wrong with me, and my actions are showing something's wrong with me. I closed the door a little too hard, and I huffed and puffed a little too many times, but nothing's wrong with me, you know, and it's like I'm not even aware that I'm still giving it off.
Right.
You know, so just continue to try to tap into yourself. Being aware, that's literally the only way, and that's actually the first step. You know, it's it's really not someone else's place to tell you when you fucked up. It's actually not.
It's not. And people have to understand that it's a beautiful thing that we have, you know, and I'm speaking from a lot of places of, I guess I could say privilege.
Okay.
A lot of places of privilege, but, you know, a lot of us have the capability to have control over our life. You know what I'm saying? Like, we choose our car, we choose our job, we choose our friends, we choose what we're going to eat for dinner. Like, it may not seem like in your mind, you might not feel like you have control over all the major things that you feel like you want to have control over, that you feel like you need to, but there's a lot of everyday choices that we don't even consider that contribute to our overall quality of life.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it transcends into so many things. It transcends into spirituality. It transcends into romance. It transcends into physical health, mental health. A lot of shit that we do that feels good now is not good for us.
Correct.
A lot of people that, you know, we once were, you know, attracted to, or once, you know, kicked it with, vibe with, whatever, we realized that shit ain't for us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And making different choices or being aware of your surroundings and making choices that are like, you know, it's chess, not checkers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Thinking about how your actions now are going to affect your life. That's all a part of being accountable. And like I said, just it all comes back to when you can say, damn, I fucked up, and I know how I cannot fuck up the next time, or I know I can make it better the next time. You have control.
Yeah.
You have control of the situation.
Yeah.
But when you're just like, damn, everything's happening to me, you're giving up your control. You know what I'm saying? You're putting that out there that you don't have any control. So yeah,
that's a good segue into our next topic.
Yeah, that is a good segue into our next topic, because our next topic is
norms, really.
Norms, gender norms, relationship norms, norms, quote unquote. And like just generally what it's like to be young and dating or not dating in 2020.
Oh shit.
Yes. Oh shit is right. So this topic is quite quite juicy.
Rravii composed some pretty interesting questions. And I think that they really helped us come up with some really good points for you guys. We were sitting together and she asked me, is marriage more of a trend? Meaning, like, do young people really understand the weight of marriage? And then she asked me, is marriage more of a traditional norm than a genuine gesture? Okay, I'm going to let that one marinate for about 2 more seconds.
Okay.
And then the final question she asked me was, does monogamy stand as a cultural or societal norm? Okay. So I guess we can go back to, is marriage more of a trend? Do young people really understand the weight of marriage? Rravii, I want you to kind of give me a little more context so I can give you, my little 2 cents on that.
Okay, so when I asked that question, when I say a trend, and then I want to make this clear, people being in love is not a trend, okay? People have been falling in love since the dawn of time. Marriage has been an institution since the dawn of time. So I want to start off by saying, I'm not saying that people who are getting married are just faking. But what I do see, just on a level of, like, I'm 25. This was the age when my parents were married already. They were married and they had me. So a lot of our friends are at that point now. A lot of people that we know are at that point. And from people that I was close to, in high school and college and stuff, I've heard and seen a lot of people that express, like, they love their spouse, they love their family, but at the same time, they feel like they settled down too quickly.
Okay.
Meaning, like, I personally, I'm a person that I feel like I'm learning every day. I still feel like a big-ass kid 99% of the time. I just, like, have an apartment and bills and shit. But I say that to say, I'm still finding myself. I'm still learning so much about myself that me personally, and this is not anybody else's truth, this is my truth. Me personally, I could not imagine, like, making such a big decision at this point in my life. Okay. Now, granted, if I had a different path coming into being 25, my opinion might be different. Okay. But that's why I said this is my personal truth.
Okay. So
So I'm basically saying, like, I see that, the weight of being married, the weight of any relationship has emotional weight. Like, it's just like, now you're with a person and you have to consider their emotions. You have to consider their well-being whenever you really whenever you do anything. You know what I'm saying? And that's not a bad thing, but it's one of those responsibilities when it comes to it. And that and, like, when we started the title just talking about relationship norms and stuff, when you get married, there are, like, societal, things that we feel like we have to do because we're married, because we're in a relationship or whatever. And I feel like the ring and the wedding and all of that stuff that we see on social media and all that other good stuff, it does look trendy and it does look tempting and it does look like, oh my God, I want this. But do people actually understand, like, the wedding is just a day? The marriage is the process. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's really what I mean when I'm talking about the weight of a marriage.
Okay. So with the context you gave me, I can answer, is marriage more of a trend and is marriage more of a traditional norm than a genuine gesture? I think being aware of people's traditional upbringing is important.
Right.
Because something that I notice, I do see what you mean by, like, there is a growing population of younger couples being married and things like that. But there was once a time where that was more of a normal thing. So do I necessarily think that it's trendy? I wouldn't say that it's trendy in a way like people are doing it because other people are doing it. I think everyone's just kind of in limbo and there's just so much going on in society that people are just kind of ready to lock it down whenever. Like,
I feel that.
You want to get married? Let's get married. You want to go? Let's go. You want to just pack up our lives and move? Let's do it. You want to stand in, whatever truth you have? Let's stand in our truth. I think it's just more of a let's just do, like, let's be in the now. Traditionally, though, yes, I was raised to understand that, relationships have a goal, and that goal is a serious commitment where you and that person become one with each other, and there is no more outside influence and, dating and things like that. And now at 25, I grew up with that mindset.
Right.
So now that I'm 25, I can look at it and say that for me was a traditional gesture, because I thought by now I'd be married and I'd have kids and, I'd have some super deep career. And to be honest, I'm in no place to be married.
Right.
And I couldn't tell you when I'm going to be in a place
right.
to be married. And that's just a transparent truth. And so, for me, if I were to step into something that serious at this place in my life, it would definitely be a traditional choice. It would be like I'm scared, I'm getting old, I need to get married so I can have a baby, or it literally wouldn't be because I want to, because I'm really not there.
Right.
And I feel like
that's being real.
And so even going into your next question about does monogamy stand as a cultural or societal norm, I think both. I think society wants us to be with one person so bad that it's almost like taboo to consider anything else. Correct. Like even just the idea of being single. Like if you decide, I don't want to be married, I want to be the rich auntie that shows up with my fur, and then I leave and I get on a jet and I go where I want to go. And, because that's so my goal. I'm kidding. But,
I'm not
just the idea that that is not your goal in life. Mm-hmm. Like some big romance where it ends at the altar is not your goal. That's definitely a societal norm. Because it almost feels like anything outside of that, like I said, it's considered some kind of weird taboo. Like, so
Yeah, I feel that. And also with monogamy being a cultural or societal norm. Just going back to that. When I asked that question, I guess I was also asking, like, does it seem realistic? Does it really seem realistic? And I want to say this, everybody's different. That this is going to kind of go into our next subtopic, but everybody's life is different. You know what I'm saying? Some people that is their goal, some people that's the way that they feel is right. So I'm not coming for anybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not coming for anybody. But the older I get, it's like, the more I see that, I feel like on a larger scale, we are way more social creatures than we like to think we are.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, we like our space and all that other stuff, but we are way more social than...
We were created to be relational.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think that it's kind of... It's like you just like with business, going into business, you can't go into business with everybody. You can't go into business of making a family with every goddamn body. But at the same time... I do see that if you are, I'm going to say being 100 with yourself.
Okay.
And you know that you are a person that likes multiple things.
Okay.
Or that you feel like you can see the beauty in a lot of things.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I love the verbiage.
You know what I'm saying? Like you get what I'm saying. It's like, it's okay to basically admit, like, one person for life may not satisfy you or may not be realistic for you.
In that same breath, it's okay to admit that if that is okay for someone else, that should be their piece and their stance and their platform. And I think that the societal issue with this particular topic about monogamy is that we're all just like way too interested in what each other do behind closed doors.
Right.
I think it's almost like not to go there, but it's almost like a sexuality, like deep infatuation that is like it's coming through the TV, the radio, the music, the social media, and it just seems like anything outside of one person together with another person, it's like there's some fight to like be included and make it just be this super popular, super important thing. And it's like, I promise you, no matter what you do at home, it's not my business.
Right.
Like it's really not my business. And it comes off so abrasive, like, because it's just confusing all around. Like, we're even pushing the agenda of like relationships on children, sexualizing children, just the idea of just like growing up and being in relationships. There's just like this weird infatuation, I feel like.
I definitely feel. I feel like in the United States, especially, it's like sex is such a big deal because I mean, sex is a part of everybody's life. Even if you never have sex in your life, you came from sex. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how that shit works. So I feel like United States, at least, from what I know to be true, from what I've been taught, it's a lot about depriving yourself of things that you want and like making yourself feel bad about it because of whatever reason. And I feel like in other societies, like, it's not as taboo to talk about certain things. And I feel like when you have a safe place to open the door to talk about things, people are not obsessed. People are not obsessed, and they're not like it's not consuming so much space in your mind. You know what I'm saying? I feel like so many people have felt oppressed or felt like they couldn't speak openly or they couldn't be open, that it's like now it's like it has to be a big deal.
Yeah.
It has to be a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's like there's nothing wrong with, you know what I'm saying, living in your truth or walking in your truth. But at the same time, when it comes to sexuality, now this is different from gender.
Yes.
Sexuality meaning who you particularly like to have sex with. Correct. You know what I'm saying? Like your sexual life.
Right.
That is, no two people are the same. No two straight people are the same. No two gay people are the same.
Yeah.
No two bisexual people move the same way. So it's just really weird that, to me, it's really weird that it's on like it's like we treat it like it's such a public thing when it's an individuality thing.
Yeah.
Sexuality is an individual thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like when we talk about cultural norms and societal norms, it's like there's going to be normal for you and then there's going to be normal for everybody else.
Right.
So nothing's really...
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And there doesn't have to be that claw where it's like, no, there should be more of this. No, there should be more of that. Everyone just be.
Right.
You know, like, and that's kind of where I was trying to come from with it. Like, it's like, yes, it does need to be a big deal, but it doesn't have to be the only deal. Right. Like, it doesn't have to now be the number one topic of discussion. Like, it just seems like as time goes on, that's all we talk about.
Right. It's like literally, I personally feel like everything's kind of sexual, like to a certain extent. Like, not saying that everything is sexual, but I feel like most things have been sexualized.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, food commercials are sexual, car commercials be sexual, everything be sexual. You know what I'm saying? And that being said, I feel like that's another reason why I personally feel like monogamy is kind of unrealistic. Just like even the way we meet.
Yeah. You know, it's very impersonal now. You got all your apps and, you know, with everything with the way COVID went, we're hardly, you know, getting face-to-face interaction.
Thanks.
And I think that honestly has something to do with from what we're seeing, you know, in our age group, like that single, I want to be single and just keep going to my 30s and just, you know, like not settle down. I feel like that population is really growing.
Right.
And, you know, just combating that whole normal of, you know, not wanting marriage and children, and
it's like all factors that go into that. Like society factors, personal factors. And then that kind of brings us into like, is it normal? Because I'll say from my perspective, I don't want to say struggle because I don't like to use the word struggle, but like not necessarily kind of going in between not wanting kids, not wanting to be married, wanting to be married. I mean, not in a way that's like saying that either one is bad, but it's just like being real with myself. Is that something that I really could say that I want to do? You know what I'm saying? Because there are people who, you know, who have known for at a young age they want to be parents. They want to be married. They want to do certain things.
And I'm actually one of those people.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
And I want to say I grew up, but my parents are married. My parents, I have 2 sisters. We all have the same parents. We grew up in the same household. Like, I grew up seeing a functional marriage, and I grew up seeing like how beautiful it can be. But that being said, I feel like I look at my parents as like that has to be that's the bare minimum that I can accept. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, because going back to just like how society is, how sexual things are, how impersonal things are becoming, and how they are for our personal generation, it makes it hard for me to like visualize doing that. You know what I'm saying? It makes it hard for me to like think about putting myself in that position.
Especially because there's just so much emotional responsibility in a relationship. And, going back to what you said at the very beginning, just taking that accountability and knowing that you're not ready for those things.
Right.
And being okay with the fact that you might be a Joan. You might be 29 and you might have all your stuff together and got all your degrees, but you still don't have a man.
Hey.
And you got your nice big house, but you got your girlfriends.
Hey.
That rhymed, actually. And a big part of that too is now that we are the growing generation, and we are going to eventually breed children, we have to start, pushing that into our youth. Like accepting, like who they are, and being okay with not necessarily being ready for that big commitment. Right. And it's so okay. We preach every day that we don't know how long we have, and then we set these standards on age and time, and it's it's so unrealistic. You have to be softer and more gentle with yourself than that.
And I feel like in relationships, like just going back to the initial topic of just like relationship norms and stuff, like I feel like a lot of major decisions that we make, like if there was a sliding scale or like a timeline of a relationship, you have like when you first meet, and then how I visualize is like the first quarter of, or I'll say like the first 10% of a timeline of a relationship is the infatuation stage. But I feel like we make so many big decisions in the infatuation stage. Like when I decide I'm in love with somebody, okay, we're going to get engaged and we're going to move in together and we're going to have unprotected sex and we're going to do all this other stuff. I mean, for real, like when you're moving in that infatuation stage of a relationship timeline, that really is the stage that sets the precedence for the whole rest of the relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we make a lot of rash decisions when we're just like head over heels.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, that goes back to accountability and just like understanding where you put yourself in a place. So like you could be in love with somebody, you could care deeply about somebody, you might be 5 years into the relationship. But when you realize how many decisions that you made within the first couple months, the first year of knowing somebody versus, okay, we're 5 years down the road, that first year, those first couple months set the precedence, in my opinion.
Yeah. And that honestly, that's a really good point to make when you think about how important it is to be independent in your relationship. Because when you're in that infatuation phase, you're so infatuated that you guys kind of become one.
That cult of personality. It's we. It's us.
And everywhere we go, and can so and so come,
right?
And that entire mindset, and then you forget about you. And I can even say that that has personally happened to me before. Like look up and you're like, what do I do by myself? Mm-hmm. What do I do that I even like, that I like for me, not because we like it or because it works for us?
Right.
And it's just really, really, really important to be aware and make sure that you understand, like I said, just that emotional responsibility that comes with these relationships. If you're not ready, don't be ready. Don't force yourself to be ready.
And be real with yourself.
Be real with your partner. Sometimes you want to be ready, but you're not. Mm-hmm. Be real, and in standing in your truth, you'll see how much respect people actually really give you.
Yeah, the truth, like we said in the last episode, sometimes the truth, tough love, it kind of sucks, but at the same time, it's like, I personally believe honesty is the best policy. I've had people tell me some real fucked up truths, but I appreciate them for telling me the truth.
Yeah.
That way I can make a decision. You know what I'm saying? And then we're just, the last little subtopic of this particular overarching topic is like what things in a relationship should not be quote unquote gender specific. Like, I guess that kind of goes back into the independence thing. Like, what does it mean to be independent? Me personally, I feel like even if you don't necessarily have all of the physical things, so you can still be independent and not necessarily have your own car or have your own place. But if you know what to do for yourself, if something were to happen, you can take care of yourself no matter what the situation is. You know where your resources are at. That's being independent.
Because there are people with their own stuff that mishandle it all the time.
Right. That are irresponsible, that are not, that they might have that stuff, but it's not from their own hand. Correct. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So,
you know, I hate the terms, get you a fill in the blank that can fill in the blank. Because it's almost like you want me to praise you because you can feed yourself. I mean, yes, it is, I guess, some big supernatural thing that a man can cook. But I would hope and pray he can.
And the way I always looked at it, the way my parents always taught me is like, if you like to eat, then you need to know how to cook some shit. Whether it's a peanut butter and jelly, whether it's a bowl of cornflakes, whether it's filet mignon, whatever the fuck. If you like to eat, you need to know how to cook.
Damn, hold up, bro. You make a nigga feel bad.
But on some real shit, like it's like a funny side note, but I was on Facebook the other day. I'm in a lot of like funny Facebook groups, and some shit in the group was like this guy was basically saying it's like unbelievable how women think that they're gonna find a man and they don't even want to fix him a plate. And the girl under the comment said, it's wild to think that I have to fix you a plate because I have a vagina.
Like,
it's like literally like, so because I have a vagina and some titties, I gotta make the plate.
Like that.
Like what?
That's not a gender thing. It's a genuine gesture thing. I'm out with you. I want to feed you. I want to make sure you're straight. It's not just because I'm a woman. It is we came to the barbecue. I'm gonna sit down with the boys and you can go make the plates just because you're the woman. I don't have a man that told me you sit down. What do you want on your plate? You know what I'm saying? Like that's not a gender. I think that's strange to me. And even just that whole argument, like if I was at the table and the kids at the table, who do you feed first? I'm like, what is?
Hold on, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Can it be both? Like, can the man and the woman have like sometimes?
That's what we're saying. That's really what we're saying.
It's not a gender.
It's not like a specific like. It shouldn't be
the timing though. Like,
right. That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be specific. What I'm saying is it could be specific to a lot of other shit, but it shouldn't be gender. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
it shouldn't be. Oh, your woman don't fix you a plate.
Because I'm gonna say this. I love to cook. I cook for money. I've cooked professionally. I've cooked for a living. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times in relationships, whether they're friendships, whether they're romantic relationships, I'm the one that be cooking. Not because I'm a woman, but it's because I love to cook. I have a friend, Jamar, he's a fucking fabulous cook, and you know what I'm saying? Him and his girl both cook, but he's always been a cook. You know what I'm saying? And when I would hang out with him, when we would go over to his house, he'd be like, what y'all want to eat? I'm finna cook. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not, like I said, if you'd like to eat, you need to know how to cook. Yeah. It's wild to me that it's like you expect anybody, whether you're and I'm saying this coming from somebody like my father, we didn't have no brothers. You know what I'm saying? So my dad taught us how to wash the cars and mow the lawn and do certain shit around the house. So I never really got like a gender thing. Both my parents worked. You know what I'm saying? My mom cleaned. My dad did his own laundry. You know what I'm saying? My dad is not the best cook. Like, and he'll admit that. But if he's hungry, he gonna go cook some shit. You know what I'm saying? But I'm coming from a place like, it
shouldn't be like an expectation
like because of your gender. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just like you shouldn't be. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
And I mean, to flip the coin and play devil's advocate, because I didn't actually think about it this way when we came up with the topic initially, but then that kind of is giving a man leverage to say, well, then it shouldn't be expected that I cut the grass. And I mean, or it shouldn't be expected that I take out the trash. But it's also more of like I kind of feel like it's about
it goes back to societal norms. Right. It goes back to what we call normal. And that's why I say this is what I'm saying, like, every relationship is different. It can, the factors of which things can be a lot of things, but it shouldn't be gender-based. You feel what I'm saying? Like, because if I own a house and I live by myself and I don't got no landscaper, guess who cutting the grass? I live by myself in an apartment, and when somebody isn't there to take my trash out, I take my trash out myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's one of those, it still goes back to the thing, like, if it's something that you have to do, you need to know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because just like a man who live on his own would have to wash his own clothes, I'm suspecting, cook his own food, and, vacuum his own floor. Just like if a woman lived on her own, she would have to cut her own grass and take out her own trash and, all of that other stuff. So I personally feel like, it's dependent more on the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, depending on the individuals and how they were raised, and then the dynamics of the relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also know yourself. Like as a woman, let's say it's something, for you, it's big that your man changes your tires, or it's big that he takes out your trash and opens the doors, or things like that. Set that tone and let that be that, But
Right.
if he doesn't do it, then you kind of move on. Like, I feel like sometimes we're like, well, how many times am I going to have to ask you to do this? And how many times? By now I've done it, and you can get the hell on, So, I mean, it's just, know yourself.
Not for real.
And all of that just goes into basically what we're trying to tell you is create your own relationship norms. Create your own norms,
That's
man.
a good way to tie it on
Like,
up.
just do what works for you. Like we said, This is our
Yes.
New Year's Eve episode, man. You're going into a new year. Do what works for you,
Yes.
please.
Unapologetically.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna kind of go quickly through this next topic because we have a fun little activity that we're gonna do after this. Okay, so this next section is basically how over-sexualization, affects us. A couple points I made were, why do we fantasize about changing the way we look? So basically vanity. I feel like most of us had the opportunity, we would change something about ourselves. Something. It might not be that big to you. It might be big to you, whatever. But I feel like most of us would try to change something. You know what I'm saying? Just be real. And then I feel like that leads into I feel like this obsession with surgery, obsession with changing your body, modifying your body.
This is not shaming.
This is not shaming. This is literally we're just kind of delving into why we think, because I'm gonna be real. I'm a person that this is just a personal thing. Like, I be fantasizing sometimes about having a fat ass, you know what I'm saying? Just because
Of course.
just because
Who doesn't?
No, also on some shit. I think women are beautiful, and just a fat ass is it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
But when you really think about why you want it, it's not really for any mechanical, physical purpose.
Right.
It's all vanity. It's all sexual. It's not for because a fatter ass is gonna make me a more athletic human being.
Right. And you're not even looking at it like that. You're not even looking at it like that. That you purposely put on that super tight dress.
Right.
And wore that, extra little, them little, just so that we'll look at it. And you don't even think about it like that.
What's that?
Nah, for real, for the actual.
But seriously,
we on it.
Seriously, you don't even realize that you are attracted or have some sort of desire to be sexualized.
Yes.
That's actually, and I mean, take it from someone that goes to the gym, and I'm constantly worried about how I look when I sit down. Did this row overlap that row? Can they see my double chin? Just little things that other people don't give one crap about. And I understand that it's a whole mental process of just not being obsessed with your body.
Yes.
And it does definitely attribute to just your mentality and something that we'll eventually talk about in the future, a relationship with food and things like that. But just understanding that when I'm in the gym and I'm working out, I'm really actually not doing it so that I'll look great to you guys.
That's different. I feel like that's a different type of modification.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, we're not shaming, because I feel like a lot of, especially women, would probably say that they would go under the knife if they had the means. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like that brings up the topic, like you said. We kind of have a desire to be sexual. Now, I don't even like to say sexualized, but I mean, that's the best word I can say.
That is what it is.
Viewed in a sexual way. We want people to view us like they look sexy. They look good. You know what I'm saying? And we have to ask ourselves, like, does sexual attention validate us to a certain extent?
You know?
And I feel like it does. I feel like everybody wants to be desired in a certain way. Not saying that everybody wants to be undressed with somebody's eyes, or not everybody wants to be, you know, very public. But I feel like everybody has a desire to be desired. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we do things, of course, like just like how animals do it in the animal world with a peacock, big spread when they spread their feathers. Mm-hmm. It's an attraction thing. Like it's you know, so it's a natural thing, but you know, we're drawing the connection of how everything being so sexual makes us so obsessed with sexuality and being sexual. Because everything is constantly in our face is sexual, we it's like some of us have no option but to think. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do I rate on a sexual scale?
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you're not even trying to. You honestly could be scrolling down the timeline. Here comes someone naked. Here comes someone in their, you know, in their two-piece. But really all they're showing you is the backside, or, you know, like, and it's not to say that you can't love yourself and love your body and all those things in between. But there definitely is just like a very gray area between like private, you know, sexual, just
right.
I don't even really know what I'm trying to say.
I feel what you're saying. It's like the actual act of having sex. I feel like most people are more private. Mm-hmm. Like, don't get me wrong. There are people who are not that. They don't have that, like, that shyness at all. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like a lot of people are more private. But at the same time, I feel what you're saying, that even though I want to have sex in private, when I'm in public, I want people to think I'm sexy.
Right.
I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying.
I want people to look at me in a way that maybe, you know, would make them want to have sex with
right,
me.
Sexual validation. You know. Exactly. And
it's transferring into our children, you know.
Just talking about, just going into like how sexual everything is. We do have, I'm gonna say, warning, you know what I'm saying? We do talk about sexualization in children, not in a weird way, but just like how we see like it's just like completely overboard. Mm-hmm. So, you know, depending on how you feel about certain things, just giving you a fair warning. But yeah, I'm gonna let you jump into it.
I kind of, just one thing to reference was definitely, like the Cuties movie, for instance.
On Netflix.
And I did see, and this is not me bashing the movie.
I've never seen it.
I didn't watch the whole movie, so I can't give some synopsis. I did read up on it. I did see a few, you know, things where people were actually trying to explain the real purpose behind why they shot the movie, and, you know, what the real message behind what the movie was, and that could actually have been the intent. But I don't want to watch little girls booty shake. I don't want to watch them booty shake in movies. I don't want to watch them booty shake at birthday parties. I don't want to watch them booty shake on your Instagram story.
Right.
And the crazy part about it is there's nothing wrong with dancing. You know, when we were little girls, Beyonce was the uh-oh, you know, back in that day. So we were all doing the uh-oh, you know. I mean, but the thing about it was, it wasn't in, like, just this sexual manner. I mean, that movie, there's, like, a scene where they're doing, like, their big final performance. And, you know, the young ladies they're bending over. They're, you know, smacking their butts. They're grinding on each other. And, I mean, if I was to look at them just at first glance, none of them look older than, like, 12 maybe.
Right.
You know, and I'm thinking about how if that was just your daughter at home with her friends, you'd be so disturbed. So what made you okay with allowing her to play the part and do the role? And so it just, like, for me, it's like there's no line anymore with, like, what's too much for anybody and for anything, even with children.
Right.
I mean, they put it on Netflix, and then in a way, for me, just getting on my high horse, it's politically, you know, genius, because kids see movies with kids, so they're gonna want to watch movies about kids.
Bro, that's what I was gonna get into. You know
what I'm saying?
The thing that I feel like is so different now than, you know, we grew up. I was born in '95. Okay?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To give it context. Okay. I feel like there's always been sex on TV and the radio. Yes.
Right.
But what I feel like, and what I feel like there's a staunch difference between then and now, and probably even more so before our time, was like things that were geared for children were geared for children. Things that were geared for adults were geared for adults. Like, I feel like even with a lot of children stuff, it still has a very adult approach, which is like, you're making it so it's attractive to children. So you got bright lights and colors, and like I think about a lot of like rappers and shit that like got the bright colors and the cartoon type of shit, and I'm like, who is this for?
Yeah.
Who is this for? This ain't for grown people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that grown people can't like what they like, but on a larger scale, like that type of cartoon, like over exaggerated like stuff, it's like it. Who is that it's supposed to be attracting, number one?
Yeah.
And number two, like, what is the message?
Yeah.
What is the message? You know what I'm saying?
And at the end of the day, that's how I felt about the Cuties film. I didn't give it a watch, and so, you know, some of you may feel that that's a very unfair, biased opinion just based on the little clip that I did see, but that clip didn't entice me to want to see the movie. Right. And that's what a trailer's supposed to do.
Right.
So there's that.
Right. And I do want to say, like, when it comes to entertainers, no, it is not the entertainer's job to put content out that's good for your kids.
Yeah.
That's not their responsibility.
Right.
I want to start off by saying that because I make music and I love kids and I don't want kids to be goddamn taking the wrong message from my music. It's not my responsibility to make that shit.
But you're also not making it for children.
Right. But the delivery in which a lot of people do, it seems very, like, no shade, but the City Girls got a Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award, and I'm trying to fucking figure out what song is child-friendly that they've ever made. I'm not shitting on their music because I fuck with some of City Girls' music.
Yeah.
But when it come to kids, bruh, like, that shit is not for kids. Like, I'm like, shit like that is just like, we need to goddamn step back and like really evaluate, like, okay, so I feel what y'all doing, I feel what y'all saying, but at the same time, we gotta be careful. Like, we have to be careful. Like, you as an adult can decipher certain things. As a child, you see things that are appealing to you on just a basic level, because from what I understand, this is I don't know, I think I've seen this on like some like Shane Dawson conspiracy YouTube video, right?
Okay.
But I believe it. I believe it could be true. Like, there's certain sound frequencies that only people under a certain age can hear. And they say that it's in like some of Justin Bieber's music and a lot of rap music that's out now. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not saying it's 100% factual, but I can see how.
Okay.
Because of just how shit is. You know what I'm saying? How, like, people think that literally it's just the image that targets you. It's so many things that with advertising and media that target you, and just what's coming through your eyes.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And that's why I felt like about that movie, because I understood what they were trying to say with the message that they said that they were more so trying to pretty much abrasively, if you ask me, display the pressures that young girls feel nowadays and things like that. And I do understand that, and I do feel like, you know, that, like I said, that could be the case. Right. But to a young girl, you know, it may not be being interpreted that deeply.
No.
You know, it's definitely not. It's not coming through to her, and I don't feel like if it's a movie for adults, the star cast shouldn't be children.
Agreed. I know in this same category we had Cuties. We also mentioned Toddlers and Tiaras. I want to say, like, when I was younger, I thought Toddlers and Tiaras was funny, and I thought it was just a funny show to me. Like, but as I got older, like I said, I'm not shaming anybody. This is just me speaking my own personal opinion. I get pageantry, and I get, like, teaching kids a certain etiquette. I understand competition because I played sports. I've done music competitively. I understand enrolling your children into something that gives them a competitive mindset, or, you know, just something that's like something I need to work towards. Got it. You know what I'm saying? But what I will say is this. This is the biggest thing that as I got older, I kind of, like, disagreed with the whole, like, Toddlers and Tiaras thing. And this is coming from a makeup artist perspective. I do makeup. Okay. I love makeup. I love the transformativeness of it. I love, like, you know, just naturally enhancing what's already beautiful.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's really my relationship with makeup. At one point, I used to feel like I needed to wear makeup every day. And once I got to that point, I was like, I got to stop wearing makeup because it starts to do something beyond just how you look. It starts to affect how you feel about yourself. And that's really the point I'm getting to. So with the Toddlers and Tiaras thing, the thing that I didn't like was it's so focused on the appearance. So like, yes, soccer's competitive and softball's competitive, but this is competitive in a way that's like, it's talking about how you look. And it's like, so when we put the big fake hair and the fake teeth and the makeup and the dress, that's when you're your best self. That's when you're a winner. You know what I'm saying? And to me, I feel like at such a young age, I feel like that's slightly damaging. It can be damaging because, like I said, just coming from more specifically a makeup point of view, I love makeup, but I don't think children should be putting on makeup.
And don't get me wrong, little girls play with makeup. Little girls get little makeup sets and they put it on their dads.
Yes, and that's obviously that's not what I'm talking about. When we're talking about you're putting a child in a full face of makeup, lipstick, eyelashes. Gluing eyelashes onto a damn 3-year-old. Yeah. You're putting eyelashes, weave, and all that other shit, and then you're putting them up on stage like, this is when you're pretty, baby, when you have this on. Right. You might not think about that as an adult because you're just like, no, I'm just polishing them up. But at the same time, at that age, like, I couldn't help but to be like, I feel pretty when I'm winning awards because I have makeup on. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm doing something,
And I don't like when I see children with makeup, whether they're girls or boys, and I don't want this to become a gender thing because I love makeup artists. I was inspired by makeup artists such as Kevin O'Quan and Sam Fine, who are fabulous makeup artists and they're males, and they dominated makeup in the 90s and 2000s. Love them. It's more so about what it does to a child's self-esteem in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still like they're in a fragile state where their ego is being built, their sense of self-esteem is being built. And it's like, okay, when I remember seeing a clip on YouTube or Instagram where this lady, she was just playing around, but she put the little eyelashes on the baby. She was like a baby. Put the eyelashes on the baby, showed her in the mirror, and the baby was laughing and smiling. When she took the eyelashes off, the baby was crying. And yes, it was funny to watch at that time, but on some shit, it's like, the baby, like, how she looked with the eyelashes on, she cried because you took them off. Like, when you think about, like, how that can really, like, actually transcend into, sad to say, a lot of black women come into their teenage, early 20s not liking their natural hair, not liking their, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Like, that's where a lot of this stuff stems from. When you're a baby and somebody's telling you need this to be beautiful and this to enhance yourself, like, what kind of a self-esteem are you going to have without that? Right. Especially when you started so young. Yep. Especially when you started so young. And I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
To be honest, Rravii said it all.
Facts. And then
flip the coin.
Yeah, to flip the coin, we actually got into something just a little bit more controversial.
On the male side.
We talked about, sexualization and the just putting too much adult facets on children as far as with women, with girls. We kind of like played devil's advocate with men, and we specifically had an example. Earlier this year, pretty sure some of y'all heard about Boosie Badass buying prostitutes for his sons, right? Yeah. And some people were just like, man, that's just what men do, man. It's just what boys do. And I'm just like, yeah, fuck that, right? And when we talk about over-sexualizing children, like on some shit, like when you're exposing, like I said, when you're a child, you're developing your ego. Your ego meaning like where you feel you are within like the world. Yes. The world around you. Yes. When you put sex might be I don't know. I don't even know how I was about to word that. But what I was going to say is you as an adult know the sexual responsibility. Yes, the responsibilities and consequences that come from sex. Yes. A child doesn't know that. A child only knows it's good or bad. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if something feels good or feels bad, that's how they pretty much determine what they're going to do with that. Correct. And I feel like putting that on young boys is like, it goes back into, of course, when we say building the ego, meaning like if grown women are wanting to have sex with me as a child, that means the world revolves around me. Around me. You know what I'm saying? That's on
And
some
it's
real shit.
extremely toxic.
It's toxic because I feel like when you put those adult pressures, it's like you think it's funny or you think it's like, oh, boys will be boys, but when you start to play adult games, you're gonna get adult consequences.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you do it as a child, you still gonna get the adult consequences.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like because, people think that sex is like, oh, boys will be boys, it's like we force men to feel like they have to grow up faster. We force men to think that, oh, boys will be boys and you're supposed to like this and you're supposed to like that. And a lot of men grow up and they can't express their feelings. Then they don't know how to say what's on their mind because they're like, boys don't cry, boys don't vent. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that just comes from putting too much responsibility, mainly, i.e., I feel like a lot of it is sexual
responsibility, definitely.
on boys, and that's why they, grow up like that.
Just even that expectation of, and you're supposed to lose your virginity at, this stage, and, me personally, how I feel about the whole children having sex thing. And that goes through high school, but that's my personal viewpoint. We're not talking about that. But just, it does seem like for guys, it's like an expectation to go ahead and lose it and get as many girls as you can before you get married. And then for women, it's like, don't have sex at all, be a virgin. And you know what I'm saying?
And then, it's like, on the guy, like I said, just flipping the coin on the guy's side, they want you to do all that. They want you to be this super macho, super sexual being. But then when you fuck around and do some shit, they want to shame you for it. I'm like, bro, you can't expose people to adult things and then be upset that they too grown. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that was our spiel on that. Those were our we did 3 main topics this time. Last time was 2. So we appreciate you listening to that. We're actually going to jump into our little activity, and it's overrated, underrated. And we're actually going to have 2 guests with us to kind of chime in, tell us what they think
about it.
We got Mr. Goddamn himself.
Oh, God.
Mr. DJ Allergy. And none other but Sweat. Keep it swing.
None other but.
Keep it swing.
None other than.
And
goddamn,
that's the new groove.
We in here, man.
Right there.
What's
Okay.
happening?
So we just want to ask you guys. We have a list of things, list of items, and we're gonna see what we all think. Are they overrated or underrated? And if you have a specific reason why, you can always just drop that in there.
Right.
Okay. All right. So the first topic is trap music.
Trap music.
Overrated or underrated? You can be real now. We're talking to musicians here. We're talking to music extraordinaires.
Overrated or underrated.
God damn.
Out the gate with the heat.
Right,
You
for
feel me?
real. Niggas on spot.
Oh,
I think
no.
It's okay.
Man,
You're not
I
gonna
definitely
hurt
got nothing
anybody's
against trap
Yeah,
music.
yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's underrated.
Think it's underrated.
Underrated.
I think
Okay.
I mean, not under. I'm sorry, overrated.
Think it's overrated. Okay.
I think it's definitely overrated.
I would go with overrated just because that's probably all you gonna hear primarily on like radio stations,
Especially
and
being in Atlanta.
major outlets. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I
fine.
like that.
At the same time, I might be a little biased because I make all like funk music and R&B and shit.
That's
so,
like your shit though.
So
what else?
So you dig what I'm saying? I feel like
I feel
you know the market is.
I'm personally say it's overrated.
Okay.
Rravii say it's overrated just because I feel like what's beautiful about trap music is like anybody can do it, but what's kind of like lame about trap music like everybody can do it. So a lot of people do it, and it's just like real saturated. So
Well, Songbird doesn't listen to enough trap music to give an appropriate opinion.
okay,
So,
That's fair.
but she does have one for the rest.
okay,
Word.
go ahead.
Okay. So the next one, oral sex.
Oh, underrated.
Over.
I'm going with my boy.
We'll get to say.
I'm
I know the end.
Listen,
definitely
I
say
agree.
Underrated.
Underrated for
Underrated.
sure.
I know it's underrated for y'all.
Listen, head saves lives.
That's unanimous.
It does
huh? That's unanimous.
like,
Okay.
man.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
I got Chick-fil-A. Overrated or underrated?
It's overrated, bro.
Overrated. Okay.
Overrated. I'm staunch overrated.
Okay. I'm gonna give my opinion last. As a former Chick-fil-A employee,
Ooh.
I'm gonna give my
talk
my
your shit.
opinion
Talk your
last.
shit.
Go ahead, Rravii. What you think?
I love Chick-fil-A, and I think it's great. Like,
Okay.
don't get me wrong, it's great. Top tier, God level fast food. I'm gonna say that.
All right.
But it's overrated because it's a chicken sandwich. It's a chicken
plain
sandwich.
as fuck.
I'm gonna say Chick-fil-A genius because they only got goddamn 5 things on the menu, but they just flip it and remix it
Exactly.
25 times.
Okay.
Give it to you 25 ways. They got the sauce.
Okay.
They literally got the good
I feel like
and they
Chick-fil-A
But,
doesn't.
you know.
I feel like Chick-fil-A kind of doesn't really fit into whether it's overrated or underrated because
One of those.
It's in a lane of its own.
Chick-fil-A is bomb. And working there, honestly, to be honest with you, when I eat Chick-fil-A, it literally doesn't taste like anything else that I've ever had. And if I went somewhere else and wanted that taste, I wouldn't get it.
So underrated?
So to say it's overrated is like, please, if Church's really remixed it, they'll have Popeye shit on deck. If Popeye's really remixed it, they could get that little crunch KFC got going on, but ain't nobody gonna have no Chick-fil-A taste. And that's that.
Goddamn.
Now we gonna move on.
Okay.
I feel like that whole thing was a setup.
It just got hot, right?
Did
really gotta watch
it?
out.
I so did not mean
You
to
really
get
gotta
offensive.
watch out.
Chick-fil-A does not pay me to love them that much. Okay, now, overrated or underrated? Okay, y'all ready? Social media.
Oh, way overrated.
Definitely.
Put that down.
100%.
Yeah, I'm
Underused for the right things, but overrated in general.
And I will honestly say it definitely was created with, some of the best potential.
Yes.
Like, connecting
People
the
use
world.
it for evil.
Connecting
Right.
the
People use it for
world was
evil.
honestly genius. Being able to just meet somebody that you've never even met before through a phone on an app, that actually is, it's probably some shit that people that live long before, they probably
changed.
never
The world
thought.
will never be the same since then.
Right,
We've
right.
done things the same thing for so long prior to the internet.
No, it's
but we
revolutionary.
turned it into, who looks the best, who's
Right.
doing the best, who's...
So I'll say
you know.
overrated.
Okay. I feel
What
y'all
y'all say?
overrated.
Definitely overrated.
Definitely overrated. Okay.
Yeah. Now, yeah.
Beyonce.
We're gonna lose so many viewers if we say the wrong thing.
Damn, bro. Why?
No, please still support Open Space. Definitely.
I'm gonna be real.
Rravii.
I'm gonna be real.
This is
Okay.
not.
Here she go. I already know what she gonna say.
It's like it's hard to. She's definitely, in my opinion, she's not overrated because who is fucking touching Beyonce?
Yeah.
Right.
Who's
Yeah.
touching her career?
Yeah.
Period. Like,
Yeah.
and I mean,
Or her
and
sound.
and I mean,
Or her sound.
anybody. Like, I give Nicki Minaj her props.
Yeah.
I give Usher his props. I give a lot of people their props, but nobody's had. Since a kid. She was 19 when she did Gold Member. 19.
Wow, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Gold Member.
Yeah. No, I didn't even realize that. I thought
And she was already Beyonce by then.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, seriously, she
She
really
was Beyonce.
Because to hear 19, I'm like, wait, what?
Like, when did she
Yes.
start doing Destiny Child? She must have been 15. Like,
Right. She was young.
Right.
So
That's why I would say, like, I'll actually take Bria stand. Well, I'm sorry, Songbird stance
Come on, man.
on this situation.
it right.
Right, exactly. I got to put respect on this shit. But more so, I'll take it where it's not a thing. It's overrated and underrated.
I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel
Beyonce
that.
honestly can't even be scaled. And I'm a person who, like, if my friends are listening, y'all know how I feel about Beyonce, but there is no Beyonce.
There's not. Even if you don't like her,
kid
you
not,
can't.
even if you don't like her, you've sang all of her music. You have.
You know
what I'm saying?
everybody
You know
has
all
a
the
Beyonce
words.
song that they know at least majority.
You know what I'm
of
saying?
words.
And-
Because it's been in a
and-
commercial, a movie, something.
Right.
All my 90s
You might
babies,
not
we
wanna
grew
hit
up,
it. You can't
we
ignore
grew
it.
up
You
listening to
can't ignore it.
Beyonce,
Hey,
man.
we
Every
do.
talent show my
Yeah.
parents put me in, I was Beyonce. I was Beyonce. We were doing something
You
Destiny's
wasn't
Child
never killing?
every
You
time.
wasn't never killing?
Right.
Pish posh.
No, what?
Pish posh.
All right,
What's
fellas.
up,
Now
Rude?
this one,
What's up?
I'm honestly curious. Oh no, I wasn't trying to play Kelly. I know he didn't
Nah.
ask me if I wasn't the lead. Do you know who I am? Did you not hear what my stage name is?
Excuse me.
Baby, I'm the lead. I'm just playing. So,
I heard.
It's good.
here we go, fellas. I don't even know if y'all know this one, so this will be cute. Bring It On.
It's a movie.
The movies.
The
It's
movie.
a cheerleader movie.
The cheerleader movie.
Have you ever watched that?
Come on, Gabrielle.
I'm going to say
Union.
overrated
Gabrielle
because you brought
Union.
it
It has Black, the group Black.
up. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's
Have you seen
overrated.
it?
So-
Overrated?
Yeah.
I'm about to say, I think
If
it
you
kind of
ask-
made it overrated because BET wore that shit out.
Of
Okay.
course,
And
everybody
MTV,
wore a shot. I'm not gonna lie, it was one of
everybody
my
else.
favorite movies when I first saw it. But I will say, if you ask any cheerleader, they're gonna say it's overrated.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
One of our close friends, Ayana, she was a cheerleader, varsity cheerleader and stuff. She's gonna be like, that's just not how shit goes.
Right.
Just like if you watch Drumline, anybody who's really in a band
Oh,
will be
that
like,
shit is
nigga, that's
definitely-
not how that shit goes.
Definitely, 100%.
I'm gonna say I love the movie, but it is overrated.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll say
Indeed.
the same. You know, just because it was overplayed. Like I'm like I can't even get excited when I watch it anymore because I can tell you the whole thing.
She's cool. She dominates. She's cool. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, next one. I mean, it's another kind of girl movie, but it's still
flicky.
like Mean Girls. You see Mean Girls?
Y'all know Mean Girls.
I actually haven't seen it.
What? Whoa, how
Nah,
could
I know-
y'all do Lindsay
I
like
know,
that?
I know what y'all talking about. But I
Regina
haven't.
George.
How could you do Lindsay
What?
like that? Hold on.
Why y'all
Lindsay
pushing
Lohan
us
doesn't
like
even
that?
go
Like,
here.
Like, why y'all,
Lindsay
like, I can understand if y'all
You
said
asking
Friday.
me?
More for you,
You
Glen
asking me?
Coco.
You know what
You
I'm
go,
saying?
Glen Coco. You don't know.
No, like,
Okay,
no,
okay.
no, not at all.
Well, Rravii, what do you
I get
think?
y'all seen it?
Underrated.
As fuck.
It is like one of the 16 Candles, one of the
Yeah,
Breakfast Clubs
definitely.
of our time. bruh.
Definitely.
It's one of the teenage high school movies of our time.
Of our-
Because
Of our
it's so
time, yeah.
Of our time.
accurate.
It came out when, I don't know what year. I gotta look this
Yeah,
shit up.
but
okay.
don't
It
make
was in
us
the early
lie.
2000s. It was the early 2000s.
I ain't really know.
I feel like
The
I
nigga
feel
was
like that
goddamn
was like
selling
the
nickels and
Breakfast
dimes and
Club.
shit.
That was the fucking all those high school movies. That was like one of
That's so our
cult
movie.
classics.
I wasn't. Yeah.
Okay.
Underrated.
Okay, so we got one more movie. And we're a little bit old for this one, but I do just want to know what you thought in your prime.
But I could tell you
when
where I
this
was at
movie
when
came
movie
out.
dropped,
Right. I can tell you every song,
High
every
School
word.
Musical.
High School Musical.
That one-
High School Musical. Straight to TV on your ass.
I say.
Was not in theaters.
I say it's one of them Beyonce type ones.
You like High School
Beyonce?
Musical?
No, I know.
Nah, like you can't say over or under.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just
Because I really,
that's what I'm saying.
I was gonna say under, but like it really ain't underrated. It's just the fact that
I feel like that shit.
it is something different, so I'm gonna give it props.
Okay.
Like,
I feel like
I ain't gonna say
High
it's
School
like
Musical kind of
over.
sparked
Not
a
at
different
all.
like trend in Disney.
all.
Like,
Yeah.
at High School Musical, I feel like all those live action shows. I mean, you already slick had some, but all those live action shows came after. High School
yeah, but the
Musical.
thing is, it's like everybody recognizes that though, right? Like,
So you say that's underrated? I mean, overrated?
that's not not necessarily overrated.
It's
but
just
like,
saying, like,
just
it's
rated.
just-
it, yeah,
It's rated.
It's rated.
It's rated.
It
It's on the list.
It get its props.
Okay,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying?
My
We
boy.
understand.
That's fine. I'll accept that.
We're not about to watch that shit,
Okay.
but we get it.
Okay. All right. Next topic. Okay. Crab legs. I already know what Pat gonna say.
Baby, don't play with my crab legs, okay? Don't say nothing wrong.
For the
Don't
sake of
say
the argument, we're gonna go underrated.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna go
Boom.
underrated. shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Now we have a person that's kind of picky with the seafoods.
Damn.
I'm gonna kind of go with. in between on this one.
Ah, damn.
No.
I
You
got
like
to.
5 in a row.
I got
Sweet.
to, man.
So you like crab legs?
I love crab legs.
Oh, you love crab legs.
But that's what I'm saying.
But you
I'm-
feel like the hype is
It's
not.
like-
But that's what I
But
was
no,
about
I
to say.
just don't
People
believe-
don't treat it like a delicacy.
No,
'Cause I'ma be real.
I'm saying this. Like, if I was in Miami, like I said, I
By the water.
got, you know what I'm saying? I got family in Miami. So,
Right.
yeah, if I'm by the water, if I got fresh fish, then that's something different.
Okay.
But
I feel that.
I live in the A, and you ain't finna trip me out on some. You telling me you got fresh crab, bro?
Oh,
And
where?
we have exactly.
Lake Lanier.
We 700,000 miles, whatever, from the ocean. What
God
the
damn,
hell
that's a
going
lot.
on?
That's a lot of miles.
Come on now, man.
I feel
Come on,
that.
He went there. He
I
went
feel
there.
that.
Come on, so I'm
I do
just,
want to
you
say
know.
this. What I noticed was 2 years ago, we was not eating crab legs like that. I don't know what the fuck happened in
Yeah.
the crab leg community. But niggas just, Juicy Crab came
man.
out and they start acting a fool,
Business card to
myself
get your ass out
included.
there.
They started,
I never
they
ate crab
passing out the
legs
business
until
card.
2019, bruh.
They started
And
cloning
look.
motherfuckers.
What? Now you
Look,
just late.
I'm just-
You really just late.
Starting
to
to
the
clone
show.
them.
Wow.
We was on
Okay,
crab
y'all.
back in
Tell you.
'94.
All right, so the next one's wine. Is
Wine.
Definitely
wine
underrated.
underrated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot as a man because I feel like most men be like, man, fuck that
underrated.
shit. Really drink.
No,
What kind
no,
of wine you like? Red wine? What kind of wine?
Yeah,
you like?
make
I
you
like
feel
red,
sexy.
red sweet red. I'm sorry.
Red sweet.
I'm a
red.
champagne connoisseur myself.
Okay, champagne. Okay,
Oh, definitely.
Spumant.
This
Man.
Spumant. Okay, next one is Hennessy. I'm gonna say overrated. Over
Yeah.
fucking
And
rated.
please don't sit here and try to convince me you like it.
It's nasty.
Underrated, bro.
No, I was
It's
saying.
nasty, bro.
Yeah, I said
First off,
You said
they all
underrated?
nasty,
Yeah,
bro.
'cause, like,
Underrated?
I love-
You live in
nasty.
Atlanta.
I love
It's a
nigga.
weirdness.
I
No,
love
no, no.
Wow.
I didn't say y'all. I said they all
Oh,
nasty.
yeah.
Wine's
They
not
all
nasty.
nasty.
Champagne's not
love me
nasty.
some
No, I'm talking about liquor though. I'm talking about just gin, rum, whiskey.
You're right.
Whatever.
You're right.
They all nasty.
They're
you
all
don't drink it for
overrated
the
to me.
taste. You drink it for the
They're all
effects.
overrated to me.
Exactly.
And Hennessy gets you faded. I know this. I know that I'm speaking to you specifically. Hennessy
And it get me
I
faded.
know, I
It get me
know.
faded right where I need to be though. You dig what I'm saying?
I'm so weak.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
Nah,
man,
bro, I
this
feel
shit
that.
work. That's what I'm
I feel
saying.
that, but I
That shit
just
work.
niggas love Hennessy like it is a part of like the holy scripture.
Nigga,
Like,
it
niggas
is.
got to have
Right, right.
Hennessy.
What are you talking about? It was in the Bible.
What's the one if not Hennessy?
Right.
Wine.
Oh my goodness.
Champagne. Okay,
Oh,
here we
you're
go.
right.
Y'all are
Nah,
crazy.
you're
Okay,
right.
here we go. Here we go. We got 2 more. Thrifting.
Ooh,
to the
underrated.
thrift store. Underrated.
Yeah, I guess.
I agree.
I do.
I
Underrated.
agree. Underrated. Indeed.
He
I
finds me.
don't know
He
much
finds
about the
me.
thrifting world. You gotta put me on.
Yeah, Swain thought Ross was a thrift store.
Here we go. Moving on. moving on.
Damn,
All right.
just like
Now
that.
this one
Yeah,
is one that I know both of y'all can give us a good answer on.
Lord.
Threesomes.
Underrated.
Very,
Under.
very.
What kind of threesomes?
Underrated.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
Beneficial kind.
What kind of
have enough time.
I feel
the benefit.
I
The
feel
beneficial kind.
I feel like
Oh.
I feel like every person should at least be able to experience their genitals being licked or sucked on
my
at the same
God.
time.
Oh my gosh.
Or
Are you
penetrate.
mad?
Oh my God. Okay,
no,
let her finish. Let her finish.
But I really do feel like that. I feel like you at least need to have the experience. At least the experience so you can say, nah, I don't like it, I do like it. Especially for men necessarily, because that's like one of our...
Especially for me.
I'm going to say, because that's one of our fantasies, and that's something that...
They fantasize about that shit too.
Oh, 100%. But they ain't gonna admit that shit. But us, we're more so we have it in our face more. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more okay for us, I guess.
You read it.
You know what I'm saying? Right, exactly. And that's why I'm saying like you should definitely try before you. I feel like before you get really involved with marriage. You know what I'm saying? Because it might come up later on down the line. It might have a couple peer pressures. So you know.
Okay.
But yeah, marriage, you supposed to be locked in anyway.
You supposed to be locked in, but I mean, you be having certain fantasies that you be like, you still be wanting to do or try, and it's like, damn, but I got my girl, and
Yeah.
So
You know
you're
what I'm
just
saying?
saying
So
if you're gonna do it, you need to get it out
of the way.
before.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, I personally, I think it's maybe just one of those things that's just a preference thing, and you can't really say if it's overrated or underrated because I haven't experienced that to give you guys an opinion, but I do feel like the hype of it is like, it just sounds like a lot of responsibility to me.
That's number one, but to me, I feel like the hypocrisy of the shit when we start talking about threesomes is what makes that shit overrated to me. I've never had one, but I'm gonna say like just the like, okay, the two female and a man one is like, okay, that's the shit. But the fact of like surrounding the topic, if a woman wants the other way around, that's like a train. You know what I'm saying? Like, so in my opinion, like I don't doubt that it's great, but the hype and the controversy around it, overrated.
Definitely.
That's how I feel.
Well, that concludes our cute little overrated, underrated.
Well,
That's
thank y'all.
cute.
Thank y'all for y'all.
Thanks to our special guest.
Yeah.
I just hope I wasn't too ill-advised.
Yeah, but that's your middle name. That's your middle name. Well, one more time, can we get your socials right quick? Not social security, but social medias.
Yeah,
You're hilarious.
You can follow DJology at Patty 2 times at the @ PATTI the number 2X.
Okay. And on Instagram, right?
On Instagram and pretty much everything else.
Okay, cool.
Pretty much everything else.
Swain?
You know what it is, man. Keep it Swain on everything.
Yes,
everything, man. Keep it Swain. KEEPITSWAIN.
Boom.
Goddamn.
We appreciate y'all.
Yes,
Thank you,
sir.
fellas.
I appreciate you.
And we're gonna I'm gonna go through my story time quick because we done said a lot today. Okay, so real quickly. I went to Alabama A&M for college.
What year was this?
2014. This was 2014. Okay.
Were you a freshman? No, you were a sophomore.
Yeah, this
Okay.
was 2014. So check it. Okay, this was my first real it was one of my first real college parties. I don't want to say my first, but it was one of my first real college parties where I got trashed. I've never been this drunk ever in my life.
Okay.
So, it was at the trumpet section leader. I was in the band. It was at the trumpet section leader's apartment, who was like off campus.
Okay.
And, it was just a big ass party. The band, we roll like a family. So whenever we have parties, everybody in that bitch.
This is true.
Everybody is up in that bitch. I mean, I'm a smoker. Okay, I'm a stoner. I don't drink like that. I will drink some spumante, a couple of mixed drinks every now and then, a couple of beers. But this party, bruh, I mean, it was just like a very threatening amount of alcohol. Just every fucking where. I mean, everywhere, bro. People kept coming up to me, Rebecca, try this. Try this. I got some shit in the cup. My dumb ass is like, oh shit, okay. I'm amongst family, so I'm like, I'm good.
Right.
I mean, then looking back, that's probably like not what I should have done. But I was okay. The story doesn't come from that. Okay. They got Hennessy in the hookahs, y'all. I just want to put that out there. This is the type of people we dealing with. E&J, all niggas drank at A&M was E&J and fucking Hennessy and Crown. Okay, that's all niggas drank non-stop. Okay. Long story short, got fucked up way past the limit of where I was supposed to be at. Mm-hmm. It's like super hot. Like the apartment is like split level. So it's like everybody's upstairs is hot. I'm like, let me just take my ass downstairs, sit in the bathroom for a second, like just chill out, cool off. Kind of like how your story was like, let me just chill. Let me just chill. I went in the bathroom. I looked at myself in the mirror. That's how I know I'm fucked up. When I look at myself in the mirror and just start thinking about life.
Yeah.
I'm just in that bitch like, woo, bitch, we are in here. Okay? So I'm hot. I'm sweating. I finally cool down a little bit. I sit on the steps, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm good at that moment. Somebody, some people walking past me on the steps. They're like, Rebecca, you straight? You straight? I'm like, hey, I'm good. I'm good. Meanwhile, I'm toe up. Meanwhile, this is the drunkest I've ever been in my natural born life. Plastered. Okay, so I start to feel a little funny, right? So I'm like, let me get up. Soon as I got up, somebody opened the front door to the apartment. And the cold air just, like, hit me, bro. It's just like, boom. And I just threw up.
What?
I just emptied my guts right on the little cement block where the door was at. And everybody that was standing outside was like, damn, Rebecca, you good? You straight? And I'm just like, yep, I'm good. I'm good, guys. I'm cold.
Lying.
I'm sweating. I'm hot.
Okay.
And cold.
Okay.
Just thrown up. All fucked up. Hair probably all over the place. I don't even remember what the fuck I was wearing that day. So I'm very drunk. I'm extremely intoxicated. My freshman brother comes up to me and he's probably just as drunk. It's just like, Rebecca, you ready to go home? Meanwhile, he lives in an apartment off campus. I live on campus in a dorm. I don't know why I just was just like, yep, let's go. He probably didn't even realize. I know I didn't realize. We jumped in the car and we driving. Both of us underage, both of us fucked up. And
both of us irresponsible.
Right. I mean, honestly and truthfully. So we're driving, and it's kind of fuzzy at this part, but I just remember this. We're driving, and we're on a highway that has the little median divider. It's not like the wall necessarily. Mm-hmm. It's just like the little curb thing. So you're not supposed to drive over. You're supposed to like do a U-turn, or if there's a break in it, that's where you drive out. Okay. We pass a McDonald's, or we're coming up on a McDonald's. My freshman brother just goes straight over that motherfucking divider.
No.
He goes straight over the divider.
In the middle of the road.
In the middle of the road. And I know that we were just fucked up, because this would have never happened on a normal day. Either way, we're coming in. All I remember is we're spinning in the parking lot, and there's a police car, and we hit the police car. We collided. Damn. Us and the police car collided and spun out in the parking lot in front of McDonald's, bro.
Wow.
I'm like, oh shit, oh damn,
What's your first thought?
I was still too very fucked up. I was probably just like, damn, like that shit feel like a roller coaster. But my first thought was like, oh fuck, it's over with. But I feel like I was panicking, but the level of drunkenness was not letting my heart rate go up, or like not. Anyway, my freshman brother goes in his pockets before anything happens. Before the car stops spinning, he goes in his pockets, hands me his phone, his keys. While I was like, I'm going to jail, so just take this. And I mean, when the police came out to the car, he got out. He didn't cause no issues. He was just like, look, I know I just fucked up. Just take me.
Right.
And he just went. You know what I'm saying? And lucky, he's fine. We were both fine. Like, honestly, I just look back on it and laugh. Like, it was just a crazy situation. But he was good. He was able to post bail, and he was out the next day or that same night or whatever. But what was funny was once they took him, the one police officer opened his door, another opened my door. As soon as the police officer opened my door, I threw up right in front of his feet.
Oh my goodness.
Like right in front of his feet. I wouldn't be surprised if this nigga didn't have to throw up on his shoes and his pants and shit.
Wow.
But I threw up. This guy was just like sarcastically like, you good? And I was like, just a little nervous. Just a little nervous.
Not a little nervous.
Bro, I was fucked up. And he asked me, the officer just asked me, do you have a ride home? I'm just like, yep, I mean, I'm not thinking about any fucking thing. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what time it is. I don't know nothing. I'm fucked up. I'm so fucked up that he asked me if I have a ride. I say, yep. They take him. They gone, right? They probably call somebody to come get the car or whatever.
You're standing in the parking
But they're gone. I'm so fucked up. I'm standing in this motherfucking parking lot, drunk, thrown up, all this other shit. I called my homeboy that live in Georgia. Now, Alabama A&M is in Alabama, okay? I call my homeboy in Georgia like, hey, bro, I'm right here on Main Street, bro. Come get me. And he was just like, bro, where you at? I'm just like, bro, I'm out here. Come get me. I'm in front of McDonald's, bro. He said, bro, what McDonald's? I said, bro, on I think Sparkman, whatever.
Yeah.
Sparkman. On Sparkman. He's like,
on the parkway.
right.
Yeah.
He was just like, bro, you're in Alabama, bro. I'm in Georgia. And I'm just like, oh, damn.
Yo.
Yeah, I was fucked.
You were out of it.
My life was fucked, okay? No, that shit was crazy. Long story short, craziest night, I would say, of my life. Never thought in a million years that two black kids could collide with the police and live to tell the story.
You know what?
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna fucking lie. That shit could have went so many other ways, but still got love for my freshman brother. Like, it's all good. I ended up getting home safe. Somebody came and got me. It took good care of me. I was straight. He was straight. We all just walked it off. I personally will never get that fucked up ever again in my life.
You better not.
If I even feel like I'm getting a little drunk, I'll be the first one to be like, hey, y'all gonna go sit the fuck down. Probably fall asleep.
I'm so weak.
Probably fall asleep.
Hey, that's responsible.
Yeah, but that was my story. Don't
Drink
get too drunk
and drive.
Don't drink and drive, and then don't drive over dividers. And you know, if you want some McDonald's, just make sure you're planning your route accurately.
Oh my goodness, Rravii.
Right. Okay,
God,
so the
Rravii.
final, we're going to close out everything. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's been a long show, but we're going to close out with our Black Business Spotlight.
All right. This week we decided to highlight NYCessentials. This is actually a very good friend of mine. She and her mother, I believe, don't make me misinform you, but I do know that it is somewhat like a family business for them. They do like artisan, like body soaps, scrubs, butters, cosmetics. If I'm not mistaken, it was this year I got every mother that I know something from them. They had these really cute baskets. The soaps are just bomb. They have a little yoni bar for my ladies. And I haven't heard anything bad about it. When I'm at my homegirl's house is what we use to wash our hands and, things like that. So I just wanted to give her a shout out and show her some love. I actually just hit that sale y'all had.
Boom.
Thank you for that. I'll be loving and supporting and posting once I get it in the mail. So y'all go check them out. Their Instagram is NYCessentials, one word. Their website's in their bio. Yeah, man. Don't sleep. Don't sleep on these black business owners. They're putting their heart and soul into this stuff, and it's really crafty. Before I knew it was soap, I thought it was cupcakes. Look at this. No, seriously, look at it. Does it not look like food?
Oh, yeah, that's adorable.
I love
stuff
it,
like that.
So
y'all follow the Instagram so I can check it out. It's really cute.
Yeah, really cute stuff. So, yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, we want to thank y'all again for tuning in. Once again, second episode. We thank you so much for everybody who tuned in the first time, gave us feedback. We want to go into, today is New Year's Eve. We are recording this on New Year's Eve, so we want to say Happy New Year's
Happy New Year, you guys.
everybody. We want to say, hope everybody is safe going into the new year. Hope you at least learned something in 2020.
Yes.
And if nothing else, we got a lesson.
Yes.
And we can't wait to come back after New Year's. We're going to have another bomb show. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram. Facebook, YouTube. Our YouTube is R&BTV. Instagram is
R&B.OpenSpace.
Twitter is R&B OpenSpace, one word, and Facebook is OpenSpace Podcast. So check us out, subscribe, like, comment, and we also want to leave you with a little, question if you want to leave in a comment section or you want to, whatever. hit us up on Instagram and let us know what are your New Year's resolutions.
Yeah.
What are some things that you want to accomplish in 2021? What are some things that you want to see in 2021 or what you would expect? And yeah.
Yeah, man. So we're really excited for what's to come. And as y'all know, we're going to leave y'all with our all-knowing phrase. Happy hoes ain't hating, and hating hoes ain't happy.
Ever.
Happy New Year.
Peace.